And we're about to do the same thing to the UV, but first we need to get the head out of its ready position. Okay. So the moment that the head starts moving, we need to plug out the power supply cable. So now we can need to disconnect the lamp first because it's gonna be in the way. I'm gonna put that back later. This cable is in pretty good condition. Alright, so maybe to ease things a bit, we could maybe just lift the head along with the dampers. I think it's gonna be doable, but then maybe I need to remove this screw over here so I can pull the head along with the cables, because I want to do it this way because I don't want any air to get inside the dampers if I move the dampers from take them off out of the head. So this way I won't be having to pull the air out once again, because we already did that once. We don't really want to do it twice, so let's see. I'm just gonna try to remove this so I can lift up the dampers and the head together. So this is what's preventing me now from doing that. I think it's the shortest way. Take out the screws. I think I'm gonna need to push it from below because it's kinda tight in the position. Sits tight in the position. Okay, so yeah, like we said before, we do need to keep this cover over here on the right off, so the cable has space to come out through the hole. And when you lift the head up, so now you can again lift the cable too. So it needs to go right, then up. This is the way how you disconnect it. All right, so okay, can put this aside for a moment. So now, where do we need to be careful again is not to unplug this cable that stays inside. All right. And now we do have this couple of holders over here and couple of brackets over here, so maybe I should just start over on this side. Got some tape over here, just see, yeah, it holds all the cables together. So this is not very necessary. It would be much easier if they were not taped together, but we're just gonna have to get rid of it somehow. I don't want to go with the scalpel over here because I don't want to really damage the cable. Because it could happen easily if you're not careful. And we don't want that to happen, because then we are screwed because we don't have any other replacement cables besides this one from the original Epson. Okay, let's see what else. This tape over here, this could be cut because it's stick a bit more further away than the cables, so this is not a problem to remove. All right. Okay, so I think this is the cable that we are gonna be leaving inside. So this is the power supply cable for the lamp. This stays in. We just want to remove the cable for the head. Also, this one is also the one that is for the sensor on the carrier. That stays in also. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of time loss with these tapes over here. Not that much with the installation, but it is what it is. You need to fix that too. Okay, almost there. Got just one more. Okay, so I think we could get it out when we unscrew these holders over here. Let's try like this. If it's gonna go. Okay, seems that it is going. So I'm thinking that don't need to unscrew the lower one, just pull it out. Okay, okay. So we got it out, but it's still taped over here. It's a lot of tape. So probably the biggest thing with this replacement is to get rid of the tape. And it's even winded quite a few times, so that makes it more difficult. Okay, 3 more to go. It would have been enough just if it were taped on one place, not on 7 or 8 places. So this is basically really not necessary. So this is done like it's never gonna be replaced with anything or never gonna be repaired, and we all know that that's not the case with any printer, not just this one. Okay, so this is the cable with the blue, dark blue markings on it is the cable for the lamp. The narrow one is for the sensor. Still we are dealing with the tape. Okay, I think we should be able to get it out finally. Right. So this is it, and the reason why we've replaced it is because the blue plastic piece, which is kind of makes the cable hard on the place where it's supposed to slide in the connector, is split, and you can see this one almost split, so we've taped it with duct tape. But the same thing is over here, it's splitting away from the flat cable. And if it stays like this and the owner tries to replace the head, which is quite possible, then he might have some unwanted problems and even burn out the mother head and similar stuff. So we don't want that to happen. We want to prevent that from happening. So we could keep this cable maybe for like a spare part or something like this, but I don't know, it's quite unsafe to use it, so maybe we're just gonna scrape it. This is what we want to do. We want to put a fresh cable inside, which is holding together these blue pieces. Alright, so I don't know, maybe we should begin from the side of the head and put everything back. So let's see, we will need to pull the head through the hole, pull the cable through the hole, sorry. Just gonna see, let me see how it needs to stand. So I think it needs to stand like this. That would mean that should be going the same way inside, I think. So it's sitting like this, alright. Maybe we can plug it in right away. Maybe just see if I can get it to be standing outside because it's gonna be easier for me to plug in the cables. The hole is kinda narrow. Okay, so let's try this way then. It's gonna be much more harder. I'm gonna try to push it through because I don't wanna bother too long with plugging in the cable like this. Okay, so now we got some space. We got some slack to plug in the cables. So you see now when you push the cable inside, the blue piece is having an important role, because if the cable is twisting you won't be able to plug it inside, and that's why you have this blue piece stick to the cable itself. So now we will have to push the cable through the hole again. We have to do it careful not to break any pins. Okay, so now we can slide it back in. Something got stuck for a moment. All right, I'm gonna hold it from beneath a bit if possible and guide it inside the slot. Okay. So you really have to check if everything is sitting properly here, because and this last damper is kind of standing more on the left. It has very little space, so you have to be careful to put everything back in the position so you won't be having any problems later. Okay, so we can put back the screws for the head. And it's important not to mix the screws for the head with other screws that you've removed from the printer, because they have different kind of threads. If you destroy threads, you might having problems with flapping head, although I don't think this could be the case over here, because this carrier is very crampy. Let me just see how it needs to be turned more to the inside like this. Okay, all right, so one more thing, we do need to connect the lamp cable also, and it's going from the outside of the arch. Okay, like this. Let me just see, this cable also has to be sticked to the beginning of the head cable somewhere over here, and we're gonna put all these cables into bundle. so they can fold and unfold properly. Alright, so this is the cable for the lamp. Let me just see how should we keep it. I think we're gonna keep it like this. We do need to keep it like this to be everything, to make everything unfold properly. Let me just see if I've turned this right. Okay, connecting back the power supply. That's okay. So we need to isolate the power supply also, and this is the power supply for the UV lamp. You don't need much of duct tape, just you need just to cover this open contacts over here. One winding is pretty much enough. There's a small space that remained open, maybe just a little more. Over here. Okay, so maybe now the good way to go is to put this outside cover on, just to keep the cables in place. And then we're gonna have to add some more duct tape over here just to keep everything together. So this is the cover that is a bit melted over here. It's original from the UV. Okay, I think something didn't sit properly. What is that? Oh yeah, got it this time. So you see now the cover is holding cables in place. All you have to do is to tape them together in a bundle so they can unfold properly. Let's see how we're gonna do that. We do know that the lamp cable is the one that is on the end right side. So I don't know, maybe we should tape it somewhere over here, because this is the place where it kind of starts splitting, somewhere over here in the middle. Okay, so we don't want that narrow to stick to the one for the lamp, but we do want the narrow to stick to the one that is going to the head. So something like this, and maybe we should add a bit of tape over here. Not too much winding, just maybe one, because there are still also these holders over here that will keep the cables in the place. All right, so something like this. Okay, so let's see, probably this would be good enough. So maybe we could now secure the cable with one holder, then maybe check to see if everything's unfolding the way it should be. Be careful not to punch through the cable with the screw, because cable is very close to the hole and you don't want that to happen. I think it needs to be a little tighter, like this, maybe even a bit more. So don't puncture the cable. I think that's good. But as you can see, it's kinda pushing the cable out because we didn't adjust the length of this narrow one properly. I think we should try to readjust it a bit. So this is why you don't wind up too much tape, because if you need to make some adjustments, then should go a bit more lower, I think, over here, like this. The problem is with the original glue on the cable itself, so kind of wanna push it down a bit, like this. So this seems better. Still it's sticking to the cable. Okay, so we fixed this one up, so it does have to be this narrow cable does have to be more to the lower position, like this here. This is where it should be, so it will be unfolding together with the other one. So that's where you're gonna have to position it if you want to be on point. So let's go ahead with this other holders and brackets. Okay, let's see now. There is a few brackets that you need to pull it through or put it in however you want. Okay, this is the first one, so now we have a couple of them over here from the outside. So maybe we should, I don't know, maybe we should unplug this over here too, because there's a, or maybe we can do it just like this. Okay, that went well. And this one goes from the outside, I think, over here, or maybe not. Let's try this. Put this inside from the outside, and maybe we should get some tape over here. It's kind of, this narrow cable is kind of lacking a bit of a slack, so let me just make some adjustments. Okay, we should unplug it over here. pull it through from the inside, or even maybe from the outside. Yeah, so this is the best ways to do this. I think it went from the inside, but this is definitely a better way. So let's see if we're gonna have enough cable now to plug it in. Maybe that's why he went from the inside. I think we do have just about enough, but it is kind of short over here. Why would this cable be shorter than the others? I don't know. Okay, we got it inside. I think we're good there. Maybe we should fix it with something over here, or maybe we should just leave it like this, because I think what would be good to do is to put some duct tape over here just to keep it close to the... Oh yeah, we do have some more slack over here, so maybe that's the length we are missing over here. I think so, yeah. So now this looks better over here. Okay, we're gonna put some tape over here just in case, not too much, because we don't want anything to be yeah, I think that's the problem. Okay, and maybe something over here. So just to keep the cable close to the chassis, because we do want to have a straight line. Okay, so we have some slack now over here. I think that's good. And let's see what else we need to do. We need to pull this through over here, and this one is a bit more longer than it should be, so we could tape it or place it in the bracket. Let's try to place it in the bracket first. Not much space. Okay, so I think this is pretty good. So now we do need to plug everything back. I'm gonna need maybe a bit of a light over here, because I don't really, I'm kind of in the dark. I don't see what the hell I'm doing. Okay, yeah, much more easier when you have a light. Okay, so that's the narrow one. I managed to plug that one in. Let me just check the markings. CN11, did I do that right? That would be CN12. Okay, I think we're good. And the last one is inside. Let's see if we can fix something up here a bit, and just to prevent the cables from sliding left and right. Maybe we should I don't know, make a wind over here just to keep the everything in place. Like this. It's just a bit short, so maybe a bit more from below. Okay, I think we're good. Let's see how it's unfolding. Pretty good. And we do need to put this holder back together. And be careful not to tighten this holder too much, because you don't want to pinch the tubes. You'll be having a problem with supplying the dampers with the ink if you do that. So not too tight. Think this should be good, maybe even a bit. I don't know, it kind of seems too tight, maybe even. I think we're good, but I don't know. I think that's good. That's gonna be good. You just don't wanna have it flapping around. I think that's very good. And the last thing we will need to do is to clean this carrier for the bottles, because there's a lot of ink inside, and as you can see, the ink's already eaten the paint. The paint got peeled off, so we're gonna have to clean that off and put in some soaker like this over here beneath the bottles. So that's one more thing that we're gonna need to do, and then we're gonna put everything back together, this main cover, and do one more thing on the cover too, which is not done by the owner. We'll explain why. So we got the main cover back on, and we need to plug in the fans over here. So it's got one connector over here from the, which can be reached from the side by removing the side panel. Okay, we're gonna put that back. And one more thing that the owner missed to do is you have this nylon on the cover over here that needs to be removed. Why? Because it has these holes over here where through which, if the fans are working over here, are pulling the mist that is going around the head, which didn't fall on the item that we are printing. So it kind of swirls around in the printer inside, and to prevent that, the fans are pulling that ink, misty ink out. So we need to remove this nylon over here in order to make the air flow through these holes on the cover. So it's basically it's kind of an intake for the air for this fans to pull out from inside the printer to get rid of the mist, because if it remains inside the printer, then it gets stick to this encoder, and if the encoder cannot be read because it's covered with the ink, you're gonna have all kinds of errors over here on the front, and even maybe the printer will not be able to initialize at all. This would be the final test, so let's see if we got all the colors on the paper. This is something that has been printed before in the front, and this is what we are printing now. So as you can see, all of them are here. Also, we did try to print white ink over here, which is also pretty good. So that would be all for this one. See you on the next repair.